Hello, everybody. Welcome to it's not quite Tuesday morning yet, edition of the Missing Wolves post-game podcast live stream thing. I'm your host, Andrew from Zone Coverage, and we have a fun guest today, TikTok influencer, Wolves community member, KingaBee. How's it going?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I didn't ask what you wanted to be introduced as before, but I feel like influencer Wolves community member hits the nail on the head. I've been seeing you in like Wolves comment wars for probably 2.5 years now.
You know, I've been around, and I just started doing TikTok earlier this year, coming off the Lynx season, and we're just in it.
Oh, exactly. Well, let's talk Lynx for like 2 seconds here. How are you feeling about the Lynx next year, where Fee has dual ankle surgery, K-Mac potentially has a torn hamstring, and we don't know any of the players that are going to be on the roster?
I need the CBA to be handled, right? I want the players to get everything that they want, because I need to go into my like spiraling of who's going to be on the team, who's not going to be on the team, who am I crying about, who am I excited that they're, I want all of our faves to be back, and then get these like really amazing pieces for the Lynx to kind of push us over the hump that we kind of got stuck on last season.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm to the point where it's like, man, it would be really nice to just actually be able to talk about like who's coming back, who's leaving, like what they're bringing in. But instead, we're just kind of stuck here, which for people that are joining in, Cheryl Reeves does have Twitter again. So everyone go follow Cheryl Reeves on Twitter. It's real Cheryl Reeves. She's back, everybody, after a couple of year hiatus. That might be the biggest news of the day.
But that's a great news, right?
Oh, exactly. And Cheryl is an iconic social media user. So Cheryl, if you're one of the 50-something people in here, thanks for getting back on Twitter. But anyways, we got a little bit of men's basketball to talk to. Wolves kind of get back on track. A 108-83 victory over the Golden State bench. I guess I'll just kind of pose it to you. I mean, how, like, do you take anything from this game, kind of walking away from it?
I think if we like smush together yesterday's game and today's game, we can take away maybe two things. And I think that's about it. Whenever they play like the bench, I'm like, maybe this was like the, I don't know, some suburb of, of in California team. But I don't know what we can take away from it, because Ant wasn't playing this game. Yesterday's game was just probably not a great day to have a basketball game, and not really much to take away.
Let's actually kind of talk about that a little bit, because I'm assuming you were at the game yesterday too, right? I mean, what did you make of like that atmosphere? Because that was I've probably been to 1,000 NBA, WNBA games at this point in my life and career. I've never watched a game that weird before. Like, it just felt weird.
I noticed a change in atmosphere the minute I stepped into the Skyway. Like, walking into the stadium, it was just not the same as every other time that I've gone to this year or last year. It was just tense. And then inside of the arena, you could cut the tension and the grief and the pain that everybody was feeling with a butter knife. And it's just like hung over the game as like this lead balloon that kind of was suffocating everything. And
yeah, I mean,
it came
continue on.
It came from us, the fans, and we were just going through the motions. And I think it was same with the players as well, that nobody's hearts were really in that game yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Like, if I was in charge of everything, I'd just kick this game to like after the All-Star break or something and just give another day. Finch comes in, and we didn't do a post-game show, so like just to update people that didn't catch quotes, like Finch came in after the game and was like, that was a ghost of our team. he didn't want to like blame it on the circumstances going on, but he kind of acknowledged like, I don't know how that couldn't play a role. Ant certainly didn't blame anything on the circumstances going on. Julius, I think, was a little more kind of forefront with like, yeah, it's really hard to play basketball today.
Right. Yes.
And I think Dante kind of had a similar sentiment of, it's really hard to play basketball today. It felt like, whether it was just getting that game out of the way or if it was, there has been some kind of, I don't know, quote unquote positive news in the Minneapolis front over the last like 24 hours, but like the vibe in the building seemed quite a bit better tonight, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it was definitely much better tonight. People were a little bit more loose, and we could actually enjoy the game. And yesterday, the interesting thing was that, like, out of, I feel, everybody, only Dante and Ant were kind of able to push through whatever was going on. The fact that Nas went scoreless in the entire game, which hasn't happened ever
in a while.
Yes. So I this morning I was very interested to see when was the last time that Nas didn't score a point. And besides when he just went out with his shoulder injury earlier this month, he hasn't gone scoreless. So that was.
Yeah, there's just something like, yeah, I think you can tell with certain guys, and I'm not making this like, this is just objectively looking at the team. Like, I think you can tell with like Nas, Jaden, I think too, like they both live here year round. They're both really engaged with the community. Like you can just tell that like the kind of, pain that the community feels is kind of going over to them too.
Yeah.
And then, there's other guys kind of up and down the roster. Like Rudy didn't really look like himself.
No.
Julius certainly didn't look like himself. And, at the end of the day, these guys are people too. And I think that type of stuff does, affect them. And, like, John mentions here too, that Nas was probably experiencing, the survivor of gun violence trauma because of his sister, which
Right.
I didn't ask him about that today. When I got the chance to talk to him, I'd asked him what he thought of the, what makes Minneapolis so special. And it's on my Twitter. I don't know the exact quote, but he gave a very wholesome answer because Nas is a very wholesome man, but like, it's hard. I mean, I can't imagine trying to get over the trauma of like losing your sister and then have something like this happen. So I think that's,
and in the way that
good
he lost
place
his
to
sister.
guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But tonight, right back to old Nas Reed, a plus 30 in the game, 6 of 12, 15 points, gets 7 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, whatever was kind of affecting him yesterday, it seems like it didn't really affect him today, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, today he looked back to his regular self, and he just looked really awesome out there. And definitely the team needed it. Definitely with his 3-point shot, because it was kind of shaky there in the beginning. So it was awesome when he came in that kind of gave the Wolves that spark that they needed to get back into it and kind of, ride that energy.
I mean, I feel like I'm almost like yo-yoing all the time, because after a game like tonight, Nas and Bones put together 32 points. Clark and Johan add another 10, 42 bench, or 44, I guess, if we're going to count Lenny's points, but 44 bench points for the team. It like when the bench is actually playing good, like this, it's a different team, which I know trades is kind of like the top of the discussion because trade deadline's in like a week and a half, but like, what do you kind of make of the up and down nature of the bench here? Like, do you think it's just a vibe thing, or like, what's your kind of read on it?
I don't know. And I mean, Nas always brings it, right? Nas, I feel, is the only guy on the bench that you put him out there and he's going to give you points. And everybody else is just so up and down. Jalen can come in and maybe his defense is on, but his offense is off. Maybe, maybe a little bit of both, but not really. And I feel like it's just so inconsistent that you have to, like Finch has to ride with the starters because the bench is just so inconsistent. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like last year, Nas and Dante would come in and then Nikhil, and you had three guys off the bench who were consistently good. And then Jalen could be on and off riding up and down, and it would be fine. But this year, I think Nas being the only guy that they can rely on to put up shots and make shots, I think that has been hard and kind of worrisome the for the playoffs. Although Bones is kind of back.
Yeah, Bones was feeling it tonight, which shout out to, I think it was Dane that brought it up, but like Bones's two best games of his Wolves career were the Milwaukee game where Ant missed and tonight where Ant missed. So like maybe Bones just needs to play more like without Ants and that might solve some things. I don't know if it's just he's being too passive when Ant's in there. I don't know if it's just the shots aren't there, but like
His shot
when he's
hasn't
kind
really
of
been
feeling
there.
himself, it's good.
Yeah. His shot hasn't really been there for the last couple of games, and I feel like he was
Yeah.
struggling. Nothing was falling from three. Nothing really was. Definitely the two layups. Nothing was really working with that. But he was back tonight in a game that we really needed, because going having 6 losses in a row would have been rough.
Yeah, it's kind of the like it's so, you can look back and it's like, man, if the Wolves would have just won that Brooklyn game and that Atlanta game, or boy, if they just would have won the Sacramento and the Phoenix one, if they didn't just kind of vomit all over themselves in those ones. And then most recently it's like, oh, if they could just have beaten Chicago. Like
How could we not?
I know. So
Chicago. Was Kobe
you
White
just
just
kind of
auditioning? Like, was that
yeah.
like Kobe White's addition to potentially be on the Wolves roster?
Well, and it's like you look at all of these games and it's like the Wolves, I think they're still sitting in 7th. I haven't checked the standings since the game finished. I'll do that now as I'm talking, but like the Wolves are now sitting in a spot where it's like they're kind of midway between the 2 seed and midway between being in the play-in, which
We can't
like
be playing.
just kind of yikes. If they just took care of business against a couple of those teams, they're
Right.
still battling for the 2 seed. I mean, from like a fan perspective, like how frustrating has this team been to just kind of figure out?
And the thing of it is that you can't figure out, right? You go into every game and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we up by 20? I went with some friends last year to watch the Milwaukee game, and they're like, oh, the Wolves are up 20. We can leave. And I'm like, guys, wait. And then we ended
Relax.
up losing. Just relax. This game is not over. Like, literally with the Wolves, you have to hang in there until the final whistle, because something ridiculous can happen and they can lose a game in a fantastic way. So
Even when it's Kyle Kuzma or Obi Toppin just ripping our hearts out.
you know there are
Pack
these
mentality with the assist here. They are 6th. It looks like they're a half game ahead of the Suns now, and they are 3.5 behind the Spurs, which again is just, this Western Conference is going to be so obnoxious. And by the end of the season, like if they aren't in that 2 or 3 seed, there's going to be like 10 games that fans are going to be able to look at and just kind of be
right.
like, what is going on here? Josh agrees with you saying, or Pack mentality agrees with you saying up 20 and down 20 means nothing, which we've seen them do the opposite too.
Yeah. Yes, at like the game 7 of that Denver series and so many others, that like you can't go to bed at any point in the Wolves game, whether we're down.
You truly can't just go to bed. I mean, you even like being here at the games, it's kind of like a constant. Anytime the other team scores like 6 in a row, it's just kind of like, oh God, here is it going to happen again? And it's like, I think covering the team, there's still like a confidence of like, okay, they're gonna win this game, so I can at least like start writing or doing something.
Right.
But like, how are they gonna win it, and what am I gonna have to delete out of whatever I'm writing?
And how many gray hairs will I have to cover up by the end of it? Like, I need to send a bill to someone in the front office of like the next my next hair appointment is on them because the stress alone.
I mean, you're not lying. It's so stressful.
Not for the faint of heart. For
King,
sure.
I'm going to send us over to a couple ad reads here. When we come back, let's talk a little Chris Finch, and then I do want to give Rudy Gobert some flowers because I think Rudy was. I mean, you said it before we started recording. He was the MVP tonight. But first, let's do some ads here before we get back. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Couple things to clean up real quick. Firehawk Construction does have a new phone number. Sorry, Isaac at Firehawk. I have not re-recorded that ad yet, so please don't murder me yet. I have been busy, but their new phone number is 651-315-4291. Again, that number is 651-315-4291. Also, they do have a website and a Facebook page where you can submit ideas. So if you are like my delightful wife, Kelsey, who hates calling people on the phone, you can do it all online. Don't even have to talk to them unless you want to. The other thing is Nate Pence is still taking donations, food donations, canned goods, box goods, cash, Venmo, whatever you see appropriate, and still delivering food to people in the Twin Cities area, kind of as there's still some craziness going on here. If you do want to contribute to that at all, whether it's financially, food that's sitting in your cupboards for 6 months, like everyone, including myself, has, or if you want to help kind of deliver and drive those foods, info@Pence Homes. You can always email that saying that you want to help, or on all of his socials, he does respond to DMs. So shoot him a DM, whether it's on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and he will be more than happy to let you know how to help. Other than that, Pack Mentality says Wolves front office is going to have to pay for our therapy, which, like, yes, there's been a couple therapy sessions for yours truly, who, yes, I do go to therapy, where I'm just sitting there going like, oh my gosh, I'm going to murder this team if I have to like delete another article and flip-flop on my opinions. Josh makes a good point here, though, of just like the story of the Finch's Wolves are rough moments in the first half of the seasons as they figure things out. And I honestly think that's pretty accurate, where, you know, it just seems like it takes this team every year, even when they bring back everyone, like 3 months to kind of figure everything out and buy back in. What are your thoughts on that, though?
I don't know why this happens, but it happens all the time. And for the hate that Fringe gets online from us fans, like, he always makes it work somehow. And like, it's this start is not anything different than how they started last year or the year before, and they always seem to figure it out. And I don't know what magic he does to the team throughout the year, and I don't know why that magic goes away and like it's like they don't know each other when the next season starts. But they always seem to figure it out, and they always seem to come together. And whatever the magic is in coaching, Finch has something that can bring the guys together. But it's just like frustrating along the way of like, well, I'm not even going to pay attention to the standings until like February, because who knows.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like all summer, kind of the talking points out of the Wolves were like, we are bringing back like cohesion. Like we're gonna hit the ground running. We're gonna do all the little things better. Like this team is gonna be kind of remade because everybody's so bought in, everybody's paid, all of that, right? And then I think we saw the exact same Wolves team that we saw last year for the first 2 months of the season, and I think everybody was just kind of like, sitting there going like, well, what happened to all the like nice things that you said? And now that we're almost into February, this is the time where historically speaking, the Wolves are going to win like 9 out of 10, and everyone will kind of quiet back down because like they'll soar up the standings. But it's so weird that it's every year that this seems to be how it goes.
And I think maybe like it was a video that, or a quote that you shared, that Finch is now gaslighting us because he's like, when what I mean about continuity is a continuity within the season. I'm like, wait, I don't think that's what was said in the summer and at the beginning of the season. We weren't talking about we're just going to do what we have always done and end up in a good spot. I thought we were coming in hot and just keep going, but I guess we were wrong.
Yeah, again, like I think when I was doing like preseason stuff, I was sitting there saying like I think they're going to start off like 30-11, 31-10, and just kind of like run through the league. I mean, to their credit, they're 28-19. Like they're still a really good like record-wise team, but like it is frustrating that it is so much of kind of the same where, things kind of get, they play against a team that they should win by 20, and it's almost like they're kind of surprised that team's playing really hard and not just like rolling over. I mean, other things where things start to go wrong and you kind of see the like Julius and back and forth kind of trying to figure out what to do. It's just really, really a bizarre dynamic. But like you said, it's always cleaned up by the end of the season, like through Finch's entire term here, whether it's Rudy getting punched or whatever happens, like they do figure out and get through their stuff and then make a good playoff run. It's just bizarre.
And maybe like we need to go back to the point where like maybe we need someone, namely Kyle Anderson, to come back and just like start punching people in the shoulder or like get punched in the shoulder to get some life in here, because like with Finch's kind of how the season goes with him, there's like a couple of things that players keep doing year after year, and it hasn't cleaned up. And we saw that today too, with like the sloppy turnovers from sloppy passes. Like, why can't we figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, 23 turnovers against a team that I'm going to be honest, like half of the players playing, I didn't know Trace Jackson Davis was still in the league. I'm going to be honest. I thought he was in the G League or like got traded somewhere. He's still plugging along, but like it is just odd. I mean, the turnovers, I think, you look at like Bones in particularly, just as interest, like with Bones in particularly, like he wants to play so fast. And like he only has one turnover tonight, but I think this team is so accustomed to not going fast that when they do go fast, they almost kind of like freak themselves out, which again, it's just weird. Pack Mentality mentions national media finally gives us our flowers and everything goes to pot. No more controversies, please. Like, yeah, that's fair. Be nice to just have some peace and quiet. Just go and win like 7 out of the next 10. Let's just have a normal normal pre All-Star break stretch here. I think that's my
That
dream.
would
How about
be
you?
that would be lovely. I think everybody would sleep better at night, and we could go into All-Star break, an All-Star game, which nobody really cares about.
Nope.
That's just my 2 cents. Putting it
Nope.
out.
Your
Nobody
2 cents is
cares
spot
about.
on. I will not be watching it. I will find anything else to do.
Absolutely. And like with the controversy and all this hullabaloo around the All-Star game is just exhausting. Like
Yeah.
that's one NBA thing that I'm just like really not interested in following because nobody cares about the All-Star game.
I mean, that's the thing. Like it's such a and I will say, like, Wolves fans in particular, like, you guys are the best. Like, I have a platform where I can have a podcast and write and cover this team because Wolves and Lynx fans are awesome. Like, this is not a criticism, but you guys fight so hard for your players that, like, Ant not getting a starting spot, like, almost started like a war on Twitter between Wolves fans and like national NBA fans that I don't think anyone outside of Wolves fans understood. But it's because you guys like ride and die so hard with the team that I respect it. But also, like, at the end of Ant's career, it's just going to say all stars with an X next to it and then a number of how many he makes. Like, no one will remember how many he started or how many points he played it. I mean, look at last year's. I think he played like 3 minutes, if anything. And like, that'll go down as an all-star appearance. So it's really just kind of, to me, a non-issue. Like, I like to see who's on the teams, just historically speaking, but like, I won't be watching it.
My
It's
interest
almost
stops.
unwatchable at this point.
My interest stops there. Like I want to
Yeah.
know who's on the team. I want to see how many votes, you know, Timberwolves and former Timberwolves faves got, and that's about it. And making
Yeah.
it more competitive, and anybody who's wanting for it to be more competitive has just, I don't think that that's where our energy should be in the All-Star game.
Pack mentality says he didn't play at all last year. He was injured. That, you're right. He had that
Yeah.
weird hip thing that was like kind of nagging him, which, I'll be honest, like, he's dealing with this foot thing still, which, I mean, that's, I Finch said it post game that he had some foot pain and then they decided to shut it down today and give him the night off. Like, I don't know. Ant's such a tricky person because, like, he doesn't show pain. Like, he could be in 10 out of 10 pain, and I think he's still going to just go out there and hoop because that's what he does, where
He was
I
limping.
really don't have a read on it.
He was limping yesterday. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, like one play when he was like stayed on that side of the court for a long time and then kind of hobbled um, down on this end.
He did also last night. Well, I guess 2 nights ago, we've officially rolled over into Tuesday morning. These 8:30 p.m. games are going to murder me. I will say, though, this is just me getting on my high horse quick, and then I will answer your question, Farah, and we'll probably close with that one instead of talking Rudy, but Rudy had a great game. But my high horse is this game had 37 fouls in it. It took under 2.5 hours to play, and there was no challenges. This, in my book, is like the perfect NBA game. Like, under 40 fouls. We don't need a foul a minute. Let's get in and out of here in 2.5 hours, and no replays. Just get rid of them, all of them. Every replay, just get them out of here. So that I like it's just when these games, when you're seeing like 3 replays in the last 2 minutes and they're doing the like foul back and forth thing, it's just, at least to me, mind numbing. I don't know if you have an opinion on it.
No, it just needs to stop, and nobody wants to watch it, right? And that's like a
No.
big criticism of all of these stoppages and everybody getting a foul call and defenders not being able to defend, and you're just, a third quarter lasts 40 minutes and you're just sitting there watching a million free throws that nobody's interested in. It just drags out the game. Nobody wants to see free throws.
Just, yeah, nobody does. Maybe Oklahoma City fans. Shout out you guys. Maybe you're into them, but I don't need to see free throws. Kinga, we'll finish with this one. Farah asks, any updates on the Wolves bringing in anyone in before the trade deadline? I will say John Krasinski asked Finch about it yesterday, or maybe it was after the Bulls game. It was one of the last two games. Everything's blending together, but basically Finch said like that's up to the front office. We're trying to see like what we have in house. I think you look at Mike playing 20 minutes and Bones playing 24. Obviously they're trying to at least see what they have with Bones. I will say, like, conspiracy theory wise, I think it's still kind of telling that Rob isn't getting even a sniff of the rotation. I mean, that tells me that he might be on that trade block of just trying to kind of see what's going on there before. I mean, again, my kind of conspiracy theory is that you don't want to play him in case he twists an ankle. He's had ankle injuries. Also, you don't really need to put more tape out there. Like, people kind of know what Rob is at this point. Also, correction, I said Lenny scored at the beginning of this pod. It was actually Juzang that hit a 2 at some point, but nah. We're 30 something minutes in before I noticed that I said Lenny played. Lenny got the old DNP. I don't know if he was dealing with something or what was going on, but King, I do want to ask you, like, what's kind of your feel for like what this team could use if they went out and made a trade or signed somebody before the deadline?
We definitely need more bench depth. We need more scoring because, I mean, there's sometimes where and or Julius is carrying all the load. We need some passing, and the bench I feel like is just very very thin right now, and I think that that's going to be an issue come playoffs because we've seen teams not have a deep bench, and where that leads. So I think they need some more guys that can play make and get their own shot and something more off the bench because I don't think that Nas can carry the entire bench.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I think right now they got 6 guys that can give them 30 something minutes in a playoff series. But after that, like, Bones just hasn't been consistent. Jalen's been pretty bad. And, you know, the more and more games that stack up that Mike's playing, like, I'll be honest, I'm still kind of in the, maybe we keep giving him chances, but another 0 for nights. Didn't really look to have it defensively. I guess let's close with this one. Just kind of what's your feel on how Mike's doing?
I mean, it's very hard to say anything bad about Mike Conley, and you know,
Yes.
him and I are pretty much the same age. So, but I think, I think, I think he's like very important. Has been very important to the roster. Like him coming in with Nikhil in that D'Lo trade has just turned this franchise around and this group of guys in the Rudy era. And I don't think that the Rudy era could have worked without Mike Conley. But I don't think that giving him 20 minutes is the answer.
Yeah.
And I want to push back on people saying like, well, you need to play this and that guy. But I'm like, nobody's giving anything.
Yeah.
So I think Mike entered the Kyle Anderson zone of like Finch is going to play him regardless of how he's playing. But unlike Kyle Anderson, I think that Mike has diminishing returns on his minutes out there. But I really loved having him on this team. But
Yeah,
maybe
I still feel like he doesn't get traded. Like, I just think that would implode the locker room. Just my own opinion of kind of like the dynamic in there. Like, he really is kind of the leader of that locker room. Like, Ant's obviously like the vocal leader, best player, all that, but like Mike is the one people go to with problems. So like, I think it's just tough to, if you were to just like trade him or get rid of him. That being said, like, this is what happens with point guards. Like, Jason Kidd wins a ring with Dallas, goes to New York, it's done. Like, Steve Nash goes to LA, it's done. Darren Williams goes to the Mavericks, it's done. Like, when it's when it's over quick for point guards, and it might just be that time at this point.
Right. And didn't Austin Rivers have a clip saying that he talked to Mike and Mike said that this might be his last year um, playing? And if that is true, or if there's any truth to it, I think the Wolves kind of discarding him here,
Yeah.
like mid-season, wouldn't be the best thing to do. And I don't think that this front office would treat a vet of Mike Conley's caliber in a way of just like throwing him to the curb. Um, Probably
Yeah, I agree.
last year
I I
in the league.
I completely agree with you. Like if this is, I'll say this. Like I if this is Mike's last season, I think the only thing that would change his mind is if they like get to the Western Conference Finals again and he comes back in like the Joe Ingles role where he's just not playing. I'll be honest, like I wouldn't be surprised if like Micah Nori or Pablo Prigioni gets, like if they get signed somewhere to be like a head coach. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike is just on the coaching bench next year. Like his kids go to school here. I think one of his sons is like super good at hockey. Like I would not be surprised if it's just Mike just lives in Minnesota and is on the Wolves coaching staff next year. That being said, like pack mentality, we can't have a Chris Paul situation on our hands. Like Chris Paul, I think is just different. Like I agree with you where the Clippers are just kind of like stuck with him now, and it seems like they don't know what to do. Like I think he's still just sitting at home, if I understand the situation right. Like
Well,
Mike, I
last
don't.
thing we heard is that he was sent home, and we don't know what
Yeah,
that means, but he was sent home.
like I think like the issue with Chris is like Chris from an outsider. Like I have never talked to Chris Paul. I've like I know some people that like cover the Clippers, but I haven't like asked them about it at all. But like from a complete outsider's perspective, it seems like Chris Paul was really frustrated with kind of like the professionalism in the locker room. And Chris Paul also, I think, really believes that he can still go. Like he can still play, he can still go 20 minutes. I I'll be honest, like I think Mike's pretty realistic. I mean, at the end of last season, he was like, "Hey, my body feels good when I'm playing 8 to 12 minutes." Like that's not a guy that wants to play 30 minutes. I think he legitimately does kind of understand like I'm at my best when I'm not running myself ragged. And honestly, again, he's like a 38-year-old dude. Like that's not many people make it that long. And to
Right.
be still relied on the way he is a testament to him. But no, I completely agree with you. Like, I think he'll be on the team through the end of the season. I don't think the Wolves would do that. And I don't necessarily think it would be a great move for the like locker room vibes, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a little different than CP. I will say, like, if they just sign Chris Paul, I don't think that solves our problems either.
No, then we're entering the sponsored by AARP
Yeah.
territory. Then they need to bring in
if
a
we
new
have an
sponsor.
if we have an end of the bench where it's Chris Paul, Mike Conley, and Joe Ingles, like
Then I think
what's happening here?
we're just pulling the plug and we're gonna restart.
Yeah,
Restart.
average 9 through 12 guy age of 39 would be tough. Um, yeah. Farah asks like who can they afford with what they have right now. I'm just gonna answer quick. Like if you were to they kind of have some options. So like if Rob is your main guy going out, he makes like 6.5, 7 million somewhere in there. I don't have spot track up in front of me, but like 6.5, 7 million. You could pair him with Lenny and get to like 9 million. You could technically convert Johnny Juzang from his two-way contract to a guaranteed contract, and then you could sign him to whatever dollar amount under 4 million that you would need to make a trade work. So they can kind of trade with anyone, regardless of if they're like second apron or first apron with that Juzang possibility. But like the guys you're looking at are like Quentin Grimes from the 76ers. Like if the Warriors decide to shut it down this year, like Buddy Hield for bigs like Brooke Lopez, Jock Landell. Like there's not a ton of really flashy names out there because we're kind of in this weird NBA period where like there just isn't a lot of guys that make like 9 million that aren't on like rookie level contracts that are being awesome. So there's some dudes out there that I think would help, but it's not going to be, I don't think they're going to be pulling off like this multi, $60 million trade at the deadline. I think they kind of feel confident with where they're at least like in the Aunt Julius range. But King, I do want to give you space here as we're hitting that 40-minute mark. Anything you want to promote? Where can people find you? Anything you want to shout out? The stage is yours.
So people can follow me on TikTok, even though TikTok is being weird right now.
It sure is. I posted
is.
one video tonight and it got 10 views, and I was like, well, they're still going through it. I'll save my videos.
I have a video that has 0 views and 5 likes. I don't know, the ghosts of Christmas past are coming to watch my videos and like it. So you can follow me on at KingaBee on TikTok, and I'm on Twitter as well at KingaBee, and that's about it. That's where I am, and bringing my Wolves hot takes too.
Wolves hot takes and fitness challenges
and
I've also
fitness challenges, and there's another one to do after today, and it's glad to be back and doing some fitness challenges for celebrating the Wolves wins.
Yes, wins are so much better to punish or promote yourself with. But anyways, if people have joined into this late and want to catch the stream before they go to bed, even though it's almost 12:30 in the morning Central here on Tuesday, this does get posted up on X and YouTube as soon as we end the recording here. If you would rather listen to it tomorrow, which I think is a much more reasonable option, this gets posted as a podcast anywhere you get your podcasts at the Missing Wolves. Next day, I guess it would technically be later this morning at 7 a.m. We will also be back. Oh gosh, who do they play next? Dallas. We'll be back after the Dallas game. Hopefully talking about another win. Like that should be a winnable game for them. Again, should be in quotation marks, but we'll be back after that one. So until then, go Wolves. Everyone stay safe.